Agent Parker.
Excuse me?
Agent Parker, Secret Service, ma'am.
I'm terribly sorry, but I don't think I understand what you're saying.
Secret Service, ma'am. United States government.
I don't mean to be silly about this, but it's 9 o'clock at night and opening your door to strange men saying peculiar things you don't understand. I just don't believe I'll do that.
I understand your point of view on this, ma'am, but I'm a Secret Service agent. Probably 1 in 5 men in America that you can trust. I have a message for you from the President of the United States.
A message from the President of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Margaret. Hi, it's Liz. Honey, I'm sorry for calling so late, but I've got to ask you something. Well, that's so sweet of you. Listen, Margaret, when we were down at campaign headquarters earlier, you remember, right? Well, yes, it was exciting. Yes, it was thrilling. No, I haven't washed my hand either. Listen, Margaret! I'm sorry, I'm just a little, I don't know, jumpy? Honey, there's a man outside who claims to have a message for me from the President of the United States. Yes, that's what he says.
Mrs. Waldrop.
Well, that's just it. I haven't let him in yet. Calm down, Margaret. Do you open your door after 9 o'clock to strange men you don't know? Thank you. Damn it. Officer Parker, I don't seem to be able to get the door open. You see, I've memorized the sequence of locks, and if I get started out incorrectly, then I just get in a terrible mess. Best solution may be for you to tell me the message through the door.
I do not believe that'll be the best solution, ma'am.
Well, I can't get the goddamn door open.
Ma'am?
I'm sorry. This is all just very surprising. Everybody who knows me knows I am the world's worst at surprises. And Officer Parker, your name is Parker, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Parker, ma'am.
Well, the fact remains that I can't get the damn door open.
Ma'am.
What?
Ma'am, I'm a Secret Service agent. If you'll step back from the door, I believe I can effect entry.
Wait a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want you to break my door down.
No, ma'am. A highly trained professional would use other means in this case.
Well, if you'll excuse me, Officer Parker, I'm going to go into the other room and get my handgun so that when you come through, you can show me some identification.
Do you have a permit for that handgun, ma'am?
I'll show you my permit at the appropriate time.
You should be aware that there are tens of thousands of handgun accidents annually, ma'am.
Well, and if you're not who you say you are, Officer Parker, then you're going to be one of them. Please.
Ma'am, I'm going to reach my right hand inside my left jacket pocket to retrieve identification. I don't want you to mistake said movement for an aggressive gesture.
Well, you make said movement, Officer Parker, and I'll respond appropriately. Oh my God. You are with the Secret Service.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
Do you mind pointing that gun towards the ceiling, ma'am? Thank you.
Can I get you some munchies?
I believe I'll pass on that, ma'am.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to ask you for your gun permit.
Thank you.
Speaking strictly outside the parameters of service, I believe highly in home defense.
Good.
I could help you with your shooting stance sometime, though.
Really?
Oh, I hope you won't view my offer as any sexual harassment.
No. Would you care to take a seat?
I believe I'll remain standing, ma'am.
I hope you won't view my offer as sexual harassment.
You're joking with me, are you not, ma'am?
I'm glad you can recognize it.
I like a good joke. Now, allow me to proceed.
My life is truly bizarre.
Mine's pretty bizarre, too, actually. That was in the nature of a personal comment. I'll proceed.
Hi.
You are Elizabeth Waldrop.
Yes.
Social Security number 451428285.
I can't believe this. Yes, that's my social security number.
And you were present today at the Democratic campaign headquarters, where you shook hands with Mr. President Matthew Carver.
Yes.
And you exchanged a couple words on the color of your gown.
Yeah, we settled on mauve. You don't mean I said something to offend the president?
Oh, no, ma'am. No.
Thank heaven.
The president, Mrs. Waldrop, is downstairs in the limo.
Downstairs. Here.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
The president has asked me to come up and inquire if it were too late in the evening for acts of a personal and consensual nature.
Excuse me?
Are you interested in sex with the president, ma'am?
Well, that's a question I've never really asked myself.
You can imagine he's on a pretty tight schedule.
Well, my experience has been that most men are.
Another joke?
Sort of.
You could help him out. There's a lot of stress attached to his job. You know, it might mean a lot to the Mideast.
But why me, Parker?
Thinks that you're a very attractive woman and that you have a wonderful color sense and found your handshake nourishing.
I'm sorry. I'm fine. What was that?
A pressure point down.
You and I were talking quite seriously.
The president is very serious, ma'am.
You know what is astounding, Parker? What is absolutely mind-bogglingly amazing is that I'm considering it. I'm not even that crazy about sex. You want to come up?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a time frame here?
Well, I don't do the scheduling, but I'd say, 90 minutes.
Oh, good. So we get to know each other?
Ma'am, I've spent hundreds of hours with two presidents, and I've never gotten to know either of them.
Well, I assume you haven't spent your hours in the way you suggest I spend mine.
We are not entitled to suggest, only to inquire.
Do you prefer to be called Officer Parker, Agent Parker, or simply Parker?
Well, my first name is Woodruff, but I dislike being called that intensely.
Well, we've eliminated that then.
I actually like to be called by my badge number.
Do you?
991, actually.
You want me to call you 991?
Well, it's a little bit more intimate than Woodruff, while still acknowledging that I'm in a position of power.
991. The president has a very high-profile wife.
Mm-hmm.
Should we take that into consideration?
Oh,
We shouldn't feel badly about that.
feeling badly would be a reason not to do it.
Well, good, 991.
We are trained to think logically.
May I ask why the president needs to get laid?
Well, it helps him to make the important decisions.
Are we actually having this conversation, 991?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Are you intimating that my participation would fall under the ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country category?
But we are not trained in intimation.
Hi, Margaret. It's Liz. I know, I'm sorry. Listen, I have to ask you something. If the President of the United States wanted to have sex with you, would you do it? Now, don't answer until you've given it a moment's thought. I don't know, I guess it helps them make the important decisions. Thank you, Margaret. I think I would like to call you Woodruff.
They make you feel better.
Woodruff, If we did as you suggest, if the president came up here, if we said he could come up, what would happen then?
My supposition, ma'am?
You're trained in supposition?
Yes.
Suppose for me, Woodruff.
Well, he'd be charming, and he'd take your hand in both of his. His handshake is electable. And then he'd start chatting about his day. It'd be pretty flattering, being with the president, chatting about his day. And he'd make you laugh. Probably about the story about the Albanian ambassador. And then his eyes would brim, and then he'd get up and walk away as if to leave. But then he'd stop, and he'd turn around, and while maintaining eye contact, he'd drop his pants and ask if you would like to suck his dick.
Yuck!
I think so too,
I'm not going to do that, Woodruff.
and I don't think you should.
Well, thank you.
What I think you should do is this. This here is called a wire. Go in the bathroom, put this on underneath your dress. I'll go get the president. You go through with the whole thing right until the moment when he drops his pants. He'll scream, "No, no!" And then I'll hustle him downstairs. We'll drive off. Then I'll come back, make sure everything's recorded. And we'll go on talk shows, write a book, make millions of dollars.
May I call you Woody?
Only if I can call you Liz.
Woody, if I did what you suggest, what would you call our behavior?
Because it's something the country needs to know, I'd call our behavior ethical.
And the fact that we'd get rich.
I'd call that fallout.
Woody, before I make this decision, I'm going to have to make one phone call.
Sure thing, Liz.
Hi, Margaret. Hi, it's Liz. Listen, it's a theoretical question.